Hey guys, Dennis here, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Collider Games, a podcast. My name is Des Den. I'm here with...
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dorian.
And through the magic of Skype, we also have Caboose. Again,
what's up?
people can see you. Now, you can't see this right now, but you'll see it later on the YouTube channel. We're in a three box. And people who are listening to the podcast that aren't seeing this, we got three box. You're in the center box, and then Dorian's on the left-hand side. I'm on the right-hand side. So we got a new little visual component today. Lots of stuff going on. At first, earlier this week, I was like, man, I don't know. I know Fallout 76 is coming out, but I was like, oh, okay, there's not any major news. But actually, things are just starting to pick up. But let's start off with Fallout 76 here.
Okay.
Look, I am a huge Fallout fan. I've been looking to Fallout 76. I've been pretty optimistic about the game, even though I know that it deviates from the original in terms of like the focus. It's no longer this single player game that's story driven with a lot of NPCs. But still, I like the idea of interacting with other people. Now, the launch of Fallout 76, on the hand, it's not been good, to say the least. I mean, some people may say it's a failure. I mean, okay, I thought I was going to come into this episode going, all right, me and Caboose played a bunch of hours last night. These are my first impressions. Look, I played the beta. I played the beta with Caboose for a little bit. I have not played the game yet. I haven't played the game. I ordered the game, a physical copy of the game. I got a review code, which I gave to Caboose because I had already ordered the game, and then he pre-downloaded it, and he started playing it. I could not get my game. My game's ready to play this morning.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So
I saw your post, too, last night. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, so I got the disc, and apparently there was like an update. But what people are telling me this update was, because it was like freaking 50 gigs, it was basically the whole game, right? Yeah. An update is like a gig or two, whatever, you fix it. It was the whole game. I don't know why I bought the physical copy. If people are telling me the disc is literally just a security key so that you can download the actual game.
Yeah.
Okay. So that pissed me off because I was like, I thought I was going to play last night. I was like, okay, we're going to get some impressions in here. I know, Caboose, you had put out that kind of quick start tutorial of like getting started tips. And I thought you and me would have some little war stories to go on, talk about today. Nothing. I mean, I'm hoping I can play it later today. I don't know if you're online, but...
I'll probably be right.
All right, cool. I'm gonna hop on. So far, we'll get Caboose's impressions of the game itself because he did get to play it. I haven't played it, but there's been a lot of controversy because Bethesda. I don't know how far out they had done this, but they had given out this note. A few days ago before the game started. And it was a very strange note. It was saying, like, look, we thought about this idea in 2015. We didn't know exactly what it was, but we wanted to work on it. This idea kind of, developed into this full-on game of Fallout, and it was new territory for them. And now that it's coming out, there's going to be some bugs, and we're going to work on things. And they're really like, what is this game? Well, the game is up to you.
You know what that tweet or that post reminds me of, and you guys, like, coming from the movie world, if you remember when the rebooted Fantastic Four movie was coming out, and Josh Trank put out that tweet like, "Oh, I had like a much better version of this idea in my head," and it was like, "What are you doing?" And like for them to put out that little letter of them basically saying, "Hey, listen, you're gonna run into some bugs. Like our game is gonna be a little messy, and there's really not much we could do about it." It's like, what?
Yeah.
How are you saying this right before the launch of the game? You might as well just delay it.
Yeah, you're just trying to save their own butts, or I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the big question. Okay, and along with this launch fail, Because a lot of people are complaining, like myself, that okay, now I got to download this whole thing. I didn't get to start play. Also, you had people complaining they're getting disconnected from servers frequently.
Yeah.
The game has been review bombed. This is we've seen this happen to movies. Like where people who really haven't even played the game, just kind of go on there because they heard, about something they don't like about the practices of whatever, or just people's general experience. So it's getting review bombed where I think it's like super low scores on a bunch of different, any site that has kind of user generated reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that the launch itself has been very problematic. Much like I'm trying to think of like a movie or like Ghostbusters, right? The rebooted one. It got like a lot of negative reviews from people who probably hadn't even watched the movie because they just didn't like the idea of it being rebooted with 4.1. And this is a similar type of thing where they heard that this game has had a lot of problems and therefore people are just bombing the crap
Jumping
out
on the
bandwagon. It's a 0, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't played the game yet. I'm pretty sure it's not a 0. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not good. It's not a 0, but that's kind of what happened. So, all that said, and we'll kind of get into the bigger question, but what are your first impressions of the game, Caboose, and how much have you played?
I've gotten a fair amount of hours in. I haven't marathoned it by any means, but like I've played a bit. I've made my camp. I've gotten through a couple of missions. I think I'm at like level 8 now.
Okay.
So like I played a fair amount, and yeah, it's not a 0. Like it's not an absolute dumpster fire or anything, but it's just, especially because I was playing by myself. And maybe this is by design. It's just a barren wasteland, and it feels like nothing to do. And whenever there is an objective or something to do, it's just go there, shoot some things, and log onto a computer. It's just I miss. There's no interaction with anyone, and I've never played a Fallout game before, so I'm really new to everything here and the mechanics and everything. And I like, the detailed systems and how you got to take care of yourself. You got to drink, you got to eat, you got to rest. I like that stuff, but if it wasn't so incredibly difficult to actually get stuff to drink or get stuff to eat, it would make it a little more fun. I'm not saying make it easy. I don't want it to be a walk in the park. I like the challenge, but it's just, it gets it to the point where it's tedious. And the game, honestly, in my personal opinion, it doesn't look like visually appealing. So, if I'm taking a 1 hour walk to get to my objective, I'm not even at least enjoying the environment a little bit. It's just kind of like gray. So I don't know. I want to see how I'm going to feel about it when we get to play, when there's like that online component incorporated, because I feel like that is the biggest sell with Fallout 76. So we'll see how I feel after that. But just having the hours I put in by myself, I'm not very impressed so far.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest.
I mean, graphics has never been Fallout or even like Bethesda's kind of strong point. And if you think that's gray, man, you haven't played Fallout 3, because like Fallout 3 is like super like, it's like green and gray, like the tone. This is actually the most colorful Fallout that they've ever made. I know Dorian's been playing Fallout 4, and that's, I think, in between point.
Yeah, it's not too gray, but it's not too colorful or anything.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm wondering, and let's get to the bigger question now. Because yes, we still need to play more. I need to play it, first of all, besides the beta. But the bigger question is, should they have delayed this game? I mean, coming off of Red Dead, which came out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
26th of October, I think. Yeah.
So it came out, 3 weeks ago, I think. One of the biggest games of the year, if not the biggest game of the year, highly anticipated. And Fallout 76 was highly anticipated as well. I just don't know, coming after Red Dead, 2 weeks after, and also not being the best game that it could be.
Yeah.
I think they should have delayed it. And I'm not even talking like, oh, let's delay it till December. I'm talking like delayed it next year.
Yeah.
Like, I know people, video game company, they stack the holiday season because they want people to buy this stuff as a gift. But if you're going to ruin the reputation of what I consider to be one of the best franchises ever, Fallout, I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, what do you think, Dorian?
No, I agree with you. Like, especially them putting out that note ahead of time, like, hey guys, there's going to be some problems ahead, and you're going to do that right at because I think Red Dead Redemption, like, right now is at the peak of its hype, like it's going to get right now. I would have waited until all that died down, because you go on Twitter right now, especially in the gaming world, Red Dead Redemption is the only thing that people are talking about still.
Oh,
like,
and
honestly,
just wait till the online comes out.
I completely forgot that Fallout was even supposed to come out this week because of all the Red Dead Redemption hype. So if you already knew you're going to have issues coming into this, I would have been like, hey, let's just push this back until next year when all of the rest of the hype dies down, because then you have Pokemon Let's Go coming out soon too. So it's like, why don't we just push this back until next year? Do an early release next year. Let's wait till the holiday break is over. Make sure all the details are there so we can make it the best game it can be. So that way we can try to contend for the game of the year next year, instead of putting it at the end of the year and it not feel as put together as it could be.
Yeah, when they did the whole kind of launch trailer at E3 and said the game was coming at the end of this year, I was very surprised. I was like, you're tackling a new genre for them, this kind of multi-online player game, massive, and you're going to have a beta test like for a few. It wasn't even like ongoing. It was like a few days here and there. They started putting more, but what I'm saying is, like, so close to release. Yeah, it felt like they were just setting up for what basically happened. Like, if this was your first time, it's definitely not the same thing, right? So, I don't know. They should have delayed it.
It definitely should have been delayed. Honestly, that note was what sealed the deal for me. When they put out that note and they were like, basically trying to put out any fires before they even started, it was like, okay, you guys really should have just took it a year, just ironed out those bugs, maybe even like run a beta a couple of months before or something, or an alpha test, so that they can take in some feedback and actually apply it to the game, rather than they run a beta test a week before the game comes out, and any feedback that they get, they can't really make those changes until after the game's already launched. And I'm just scared because I feel like maybe down the line they'll fix some of the problems with Fallout 76, but it might be just too little too late. You might as well have delayed it and released the best product you can, rather than trying to fix everything after the fact. Because now, everyone's gotten their impression of the game. Some people might just not play it anymore. Just be like,
I've seen a lot of like negative feedback from people who haven't played the game yet. They just heard all these problems. They're like, well, I'm gonna skip this. And also another thing, look, maybe I play a bunch and I love it. I don't know. That may be my mindset a week from now, 2 weeks from now. Yeah. Right now, though, I'm thinking what they should have done is, instead of this kind of massive online, which is not even massive, because I think they purposely limit it to 24 people per map or something. They should have just done a co-op online version where you just pair up with your friends and play it online, and then in that world you can have NPCs, and you know what I mean? And the camping seems more legit, because then it's like a permanent thing. Like, you kind of just create your own game, and then you guys kind of stick with it. Like,
a game like Fallout 76 should have the mantra be that you can play it by yourself, but your experience is enhanced like tenfold if you play it with a friend. But there still should be some fun in playing it by yourself, because that option is there. Yeah. I might not always have someone online to play Fallout 76, so I should be able to still jump in and be like, okay, I can have some fun until my buddy gets on, and then the real fun begins, So the fact that isn't there for me is pretty disappointing.
Yeah, they should have some sort of kind of master save game where you and your friends play together, and you can play by yourself, and then you can kind of accomplish certain things, and then as long as maybe you accomplish them not as a group, they're still available to you when you play together. I don't know. I don't know. I just think there was a lot more planning and thought through this for it.
One thing though, that Square Enix is doing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, though, is like the DLCs for they're releasing like 7 or 8 DLCs every 3 weeks, and those are co-op online where you and your buddy can go out and you can do it alone, but they push you to like, hey, get a friend and do it with you, and it made like that was probably more fun than the actual story itself, is you nice. your buddy like going off and doing a mission together, and then you saw like if you die, then y'all both die and you have to start over and all that. So I think that I would have much rather them do something like that with this Fallout game instead.
Because since it's not PvP, then it's like, well, then why do I need to like go have strangers on that game anyways? You guys are probably, I don't know, too young to remember this, but Dreamcast had Phantasy Star Online, and that was kind of the first like multiplayer online kind of game that I played, like a MMO style. And that one was you literally found 3 other people and you paired up, or you grouped up, and then you played the game. So then you all 4 of you went in and started playing this game. And of course people drop out and other people hop in, but it limited it to like you 4 and you progressing through these levels together. I think that might have been a better approach for them, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure we're going to be talking about more about Fallout. I mean, you're going to put out some guides. I'm going to play it. Hopefully I'll be able to play with you tonight, and maybe we can get a better idea or scope of it. And we haven't put out a review yet because we just haven't been able to play it enough and to make a good judgment. I'm assuming we'll probably have a review up sometime next week after we play it some more. All right, moving on. This news, I think, came out today. Sony is skipping E3 next year.
Yep.
This is the first time they've done it in...
I think it's 24
years. 24 years. This is very interesting. They said they don't have any games to show. Does it matter? I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like when certain studios skip Comic-Con, right? Like Marvel skipped Comic-Con last year. It's like, does it affect them? Does it affect the people? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, Dorian, what are your thoughts on when we go to E3 next year and Sony's not there? Is it going to affect your opinion of them or the system? Or
no, not really. Because I mean, I think in the interview that he said like we just didn't have anything to show. Like we have a couple games coming out next year, but we didn't want to bring everybody across North America just for them to like not deliver all the hype. So I respect their decision on that, but it's like I mean I would still go just like and if I see Sony there and they're like just like having their whatever games they're trying to promote, even if it's little like not as hype as The Last of Us or something like that, I'd still go to see it. But it doesn't impact me as much just because of what they don't have too much coming out next year. Like my whole thing on my mind is just The Last of Us 2. I just want to get more. That's all I want from them. I just want them to give me an update on that, and I'll be good. Like if they do a separate event for that, then I'm there for it. But it doesn't really.
Yeah,
affect
I'm
me.
sure Last of Us will still be there. It just won't be part of a Sony kind of showcase.
And I'm sure they'll have like little like maybe a little booth or a little activation or something for the games, because you at Comic-Con like Marvel wasn't, they didn't have a Hall H or anything, but they still had somewhat of a presence there. So I don't expect them not to just be like empty everywhere.
Well, you're gonna see the Sony play. It's not like Sony PlayStation games are not gonna be there. They're gonna be there at third party, booths.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no way that they like, just like Dorian said, Marvel skips out on Comic-Con, but like they're still there. Like we'll still probably have Sony presence on the show floor. It looks like they're skipping out on doing a press conference. And it makes sense if you think about the fact that, hey, the PlayStation or the PS4 just turned 5 years old. It's been out for quite a bit of time. They're probably ramping up here for the announcement or reveal of their next console.
PS5.
And because of that, they don't really have... I think all that's really left in terms of like PlayStation exclusives is we got The Last of Us Part 2, and then Days Gone, I think. I might be wrong. There might be a couple of more, but they've pretty much put out all the big ones that they've been planning, with God of War and Detroit Become Human, Spider-Man and everything. So now it's just they're going to take a year, do their thing, and then I'm sure they're going to announce that next PlayStation, and then that's when we'll start to see the floodgates get opened for all sorts of other PlayStation games to be announced. And I forgot to mention as well that Ghost of Tsushima was a part of their showcase this year. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy that after 24 years they're skipping out on E3. That's pretty nuts, but I think it's totally fine. It's not anything to go crazy about. There's still plenty of PlayStation stuff to come.
If they skip next year, then I think it's like if Marvel skips. Like Marvel skips Comic-Con this year or something like that. Like
might have to. I'll get a word with Kevin Feige if they do try to do that again.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, 1 year because of the alignment of the movies, and there's nothing really to promote. Okay, cool. But once you start skipping 2 years. 3 years.
We got a problem now.
Yeah.
All right. It's tough, but I mean, at the same. Sorry to cut you
go
off,
for it.
It's tough, but it's at the same time, it's better than them just showing a new trailer for The Last of Us or like Death Stranding and just not having a release date. Like it's great we get to see more of these games, but we don't know when they're coming out. So I'd rather just give me some more footage of that when you got yourselves a release date for it. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, cool. Moving on to the next topic, Red Dead Redemption 2. I know you have finished it, Caboose.
Yeah,
I still haven't got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Dorian's waiting for.
Actually, no, I'm getting it this weekend. I promise.
Yeah,
okay, nice.
You said that the other weekend.
Yeah, that other weekend was I had to buy some shoes.
Yeah, he had to buy some shoes.
But now I'm getting it this weekend.
Okay.
Your boy got paid. We're getting it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm getting it.
Okay, you got to get on that train. Anyways, I'm about 30% in. I think Fernandez is about 40% in. We'll have like a spoiler review at some point where we can all kind of chat about it, because I definitely want to go into spoilers. But I was reading this one article that someone, I don't know if it was real or not, in terms, and I don't know what's going on here. But Red Dead Redemption 2, they're talking about how they accidentally glitched into Mexico. Which, if you're fans of the first game, that was part of the first game. And people are talking about, oh, this is going to be a DLC. This will be part of the online component. What are your thoughts, Caboose?
Yeah, no, it definitely can be. I've seen this glitch. You can, you do something with your horse and you basically get past the barrier of the map. And then when you're out in what is supposed to be Mexico, there are some areas that are partly designed, and you'll see some places that you might recognize from the first game, because the first game you could actually go to Mexico, a part of that map. So some people are now speculating, is this either A, cut content that they just didn't end up finishing or wanting to put into the game? Is it going to be DLC, or will it be part of the online? And honestly, it could be any of those.
Yeah.
Because any of the buildings that you see, they're not finished. They're just very loosely designed, and you can see you can make out what the building's supposed to be if you remember the location from the first Red Dead Redemption. So I mean, it could be DLC. I hope that Rockstar decides this time around to finally add some single player DLC with Red Dead 2, because they said they were going to do it with GTA 5 and they just never did. And I would love some single player content for the game, because Undead Nightmare is one of the most fun expansions I've ever played, and that's for Red Dead Redemption 1.
I remember I got that one as well.
Yeah. It's a ton of fun, so I hope they add some single-player content. But, I mean, on the flip side, I know Red Dead Online is just going to bring in bank for Rockstar. So it just
microtransactions.
Oh yeah, big time. So then that just all comes down to
Dennis
how
doesn't
long
play
are they
that
keep
game.
it in beta, So
yeah. So yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be part of the online or a DLC, either a mission DLC or part of the online segment, or both. Maybe they open up the area, and then maybe they open up the area free online, but then you can purchase some sort of DLC that has a mission that's involved with it. And from what I read, it is basically almost like a reskinning of the map of in the first game. That wasn't new areas or anything like that. So
yeah,
that's interesting. There's a little side note I just thought was funny. I guess because of the game and who the O'Driscolls are in the game, I guess there was like this guy. His name was Colm O'Driscoll.
Yeah.
he was getting trolled by a bunch of people, like DMing him, tweeting him.
So good.
Who's this?
So in Red Dead Redemption, the main rival gang is the O'Driscolls. Like they're just like every time you see them, they want to fight you. You want to fight them. They're just a bunch of assholes. And the leader of the gang is called Colm O'Driscoll. And so I guess there's a guy whose real name, who's probably descended from like the real O'Driscolls, is getting trolled by people online, going like people are straight like, I'm gonna kill you,
like pretending like he's the
yes, exactly. It's like F
great.
you stupid blah blah. Like
they don't mean it, but they just trolling him. Yeah, that's funny.
But he's getting trolled like left and right.
I might join in on that, even if I don't play.
Well, because they make those characters so hateable in the game, so it's just funny that it's like, at least I hope, these people who are doing are trolling him and not actually believing it.
It's probably like a Reddit meme at this point, because like everyone on the Red Dead Reddit is either hating on Colm O'Driscoll or Micah from the gang. Yeah. So when they found out there was a guy in real life whose name is Colm O'Driscoll, they went nuts on it. It's great. It's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Me and Dorian and some of the other guys here at Collider, Christian Harloff, our boss Mark Fernandez, and Jack Hind, and me and Dorian got to experience this very cool VR from The Void for Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's like in conjunction with the Ralph Breaks the Internet, but they call it Ralph Breaks VR. Very nice. Cool. First time. We're big on VR over here at Collider Games. We're producing that Twin Peaks VR game. This is a different type of experience. It's still VR, but the way that you play it, you have like a whole backpack
like
on, a suit. Like it has vibrations. You can pick up a gun in the game. You're walking through like a maze, almost like a small maze. They blow like, I don't want to spoil the whole experience, but they'll like blow or like hot air on you. Smells will come out. Like so, it's like a full-on experience. I thought it was a blast. It made me want to play this. I guess there's already a Star Wars version already out.
Yeah.
Nice.
This was probably one of the funnest experiences I've had when it comes to VR, because they let us know ahead of time. They were like, this is going to be one of the best times you've ever had. And I was like, is it though? Maybe. We'll see what happens. And then we got in there, got on the suit. Like once we actually started doing it, it felt, and Christian gave a great comparison. It felt like we were in Ready Player One, like in the Oasis.
Nice.
That's how it felt, because once if you've I don't know if you've seen the movie Caboose, but it's once you like in the internet and you're just looking around and seeing, like it feels like you're actually in the internet, and just to be immersed in the world. And I think they said that the writer who wrote Ralph Breaks the Internet wrote the story for this as well. So it's kind of like they made sure it flowed continually through both. So I'm glad they put that detail into it, because you like some of the stuff, the Easter eggs in there, like I really appreciated that. And just overall, like when we were leaning against a rail or something like that, and you reached out your hand, there was an actual rail there. That like stuff like that, just the little details like that, just blew my mind.
Yeah, and then when you go in there, it's not this one person experience that your VR at home is. You're with 3 other people. And you can see them, not them, but like they have an avatar, and they move. Like when they move their hand, their avatar moves. So it feels like they're there with you.
Nice.
And like if you bump into them, you'll actually bump into them. So it's one of those things. And the finger tracking was great, because you don't have gloves, but yet when you move your fingers, it actually moves. It was crazy.
And it was also it's Did y'all? Who won between y'all's round?
I won.
Oh, you won. Damn.
I won because I took over the Space Invaders game, and like I was paired up with Mark, and he wasn't playing on it. He was like doing something else, and then I was doing the space. So I got like a bunch of points from there.
Damn. Oh, because you were doing the whole thing by yourself. Oh,
versus Jack and Christian.
And Caboose is going to be a little hard to explain, but so in one of the sections, it's basically 2 versus 2, and where you're doing the Space Invaders. I don't remember. I think it's called Dunderdome, because they don't want to It's
Yeah,
Dunderdome, whatever.
Yeah.
And but basically, I don't know how they did it. So they split us up into 2-on-2, but it made it seem like we transported like super far away. But in reality, we were like standing right next to each other. But it looked like we were far away from each other, like
That's
shooting
dope.
across the fields, trying to score more points than each other. And so it's basically we're all competing against each other as 4 people, and it doesn't tell you who else's scores on there, like the names, but you can see where you're at and compared to other people. I got last in my round though.
Yeah.
I suck, but it's all good.
Yeah, I think when they come out with the final version, the one that you'll play in the actual places, I think are they mostly in malls? I know the one that here in Glendale, or the one closest to us is the one at the Glendale Galleria.
I believe, I think they're at I believe they're at malls there because there's 7 different ones. I just don't know. Like I think they're at Void. I know they're called the Void Experience Centers, but I'm not sure exactly where they're located. But all the details can be found on. Just search up the hashtag like Void VR. You'll find all the details if you want to go.
Yeah. So and then there's a Star Wars one that's out now. Then after I played the Wreck-It Ralph, I'm like, dude, I gotta play Star Wars. One.
I want to see what else they come up with in the future because I have so many ideas like after that. And imagine if they added a whole nother it felt like laser tag, but just like on a whole nother level.
Me and Jack were talking about like, what if they make it a 2-story building, or if like they just make the place like the size of a football field, or you know what I mean? There's just so many things you could do with that technology.
And that the first time when you did you had to hack the system. I did not expect to like because Caboose, there's the shocker on your suit, like it shocks your whole body, not your whole body,
Really?
but like your upper chest, and not really shock, but you can feel vibrations.
Yeah. Wow.
And so like whenever you press something, and it caught me off guard the first time, but it was dope.
All right, I'm gonna go grab something because I know some people who have been waiting for this part of the show. Why don't you keep talking in Caboose? Right. I forgot to bring it in. Let me go get it.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Dennis is going to go grab something, everybody. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't been on the podcast in a couple of weeks because it's just been Red Dead Redemption heavy. So I just been sitting on the back burner.
So when you're doing this VR thing, like you're in an area, and basically when you're wearing the VR headset, they take whatever that your surroundings are and design it for that world.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's like a maze. Like if without the VR, like it just looks like black walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the way they set it up.
Bam.
Oh snap! Oh. I know what this is.
Explain to me what he's got.
All right. So for the people who watch Collider Programming or listen to Collider Programming, and you listen to Collider Heroes, you will know that we are giving away an Xbox One X. Not is it a regular Xbox One X, it's actually a custom designed Incredibles 2.
Yes.
The movie is out on Blu-ray.
Do I get to enter?
Huh? You do not get to enter.
No, you can't
Caboose. But everyone else listening or watching at home can. The Blu-ray, the 4K version, and the digital is out now. Let me open up this box so you can see how cool it is. We actually got 2 of them. One we're going to keep, one we're giving away. So we had opened up the other one on Collider Heroes. If you want to see that design, I'm going to open up this one. We haven't decided which design we're going to send to you to the winner yet, but let's open this puppy up.
Let's do it. Hope this is the one with the kids and the family on it.
Well, I think they both have the kids and the family on it. Here we go.
Like if it goes missing or anything, it definitely wasn't me. I promise.
Okay. People can't see this because we're in a 3-box, so I just realized this, that we've been talking this whole time. No one knew what I brought in.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the Blu-ray that just came out. Here we go. And then let me take out the actual
damn.
Xbox. So for those listening that can't see this, you should probably go check this out on our YouTube channel. Here we go. Look at this.
Damn,
puppy.
that is fire. Oh, damn.
Look at this puppy. Caboose, you can't see it, but you should watch the
can't.
video later when we
But I
upload it.
will.
So here it is.
And a nice detail to notice is that Caboose is that they did, in fact, keep Mrs. Incredible's thickness on on the Xbox as well.
So
Phenomenal.
I don't know if we can see this. Here we go. this custom designed Xbox One X we are giving away. So you can take pictures of it later.
Yeah, we might keep that one, guys, and give the other one away because that's fire. Mrs. Incredible. Looking too good.
Yeah, and it also comes with a custom design controller as well. So we had the Han Solo one, and that one was pretty cool. Now we have 2 Incredibles ones, and then we're going to give one away. How are we giving this away, Dorian? Through social?
Yeah, just through social. I'll post a pic of it, and they just have to retweet and follow.
Yeah, make sure you are subscribed to the Collider YouTube channel, Collider Games YouTube channel, or the Collider Games podcast, and also the Twitter handle. And Dorian will be tweeting out how to enter. It'll just be probably something like a retweet or just hashtag.
And also we're because I also got a bunch of little Funkos and some plushes to throw in there with it. So
nice.
it's going to be a little bundle package for them.
Nice.
That's crazy.
So so this is a pretty cool design, pretty cool thing that we got.
One hell of a giveaway.
Giving that away in conjunction with the Incredibles 2 Blu-ray and 4K and digital release. All right. I'm going to put this stuff aside. I'll box it up after the show. So that is that. Another cool thing we had today was Dorian. We had some visitors today at the studio. You want to talk about that? And you got a preview game?
Yeah. So I got to preview Ride 3 and also I got to preview the new Monster Energy Supercross 2 game. Both of them are motorcycle games, and I'm not too familiar with motorcycle games in general, but I got to test it out with the game developer. With the game developer himself, and we came in. I interviewed him, and we got to play it for a few minutes, but probably about an hour each game. And overall, I really enjoyed it. The amount of detail they put into the new tracks. That's one of the things they really wanted to highlight was just the scenery of, because they have London, they have a bunch of different like actual locations that they put in there. Added a bunch of details in there, and over. I think he said that for Ride 3, there's over 3,000 customizations for the motorcycle itself in terms of like detailing, styling, adding. I don't know the proper vocabulary for motorcycles, but just the design itself. Like I think I almost made mine look like a Homer Simpson type bike. You could do a bunch of stuff with that. And in the Monster Supercross game, it's revamped to where like they have over 80 competitors, like actual competitors that do it in the real life, and there's a championship track. There's a bunch of different stuff that they're still working on because this is an earlier version of the build because it doesn't come out until February 8th next year, but Ride 3 comes out November 30th this month. Sweet. And that game was pretty cool because it for people like me who aren't too good at sports or motorcycle games in general, they have on all the tracks or whenever you're playing, they have a mode that'll like just show you like here's when to brake to make sure you're not falling off or anything like that. And there's also a cool feature where like if you do fall off your bike or something in the middle of a race, you can rewind it and then start from where before you mess up.
Yeah, that'd probably be good for someone like me.
Yeah, you can rewind before you mess up and then like keep going like nothing ever happened, and they don't penalize you for that or anything. But in the multiplayer mode or when you're online, you can't use that feature because it's it's be cheating or something like that. But overall, I'm excited for Ride 3. It comes out November 30th.
Is it PlayStation? I know you played it on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's PlayStation, Notes, Xbox.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Xbox, PC too. So it's
and the motocross game you played on PC, is that also available on there?
Yeah, that'll be on PS or PlayStation 4 and Xbox as well, and Steam.
Nice.
Okay, cool. And we'll talk more about that later.
And I interviewed him, and he wanted to really highlight the fact that they, especially for motocross as well, is that they wanted to give the players the ultimate customization throughout the look, and there's a career mode on there as well. So you get to experience how a professional motorcyclist lives outside of just racing tracks. You get to be signed sign like fans letters and all that. Just like it's basically like a career mode from like 2K or something like that, but before this type of game.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, cool. So
That's awesome.
we'll talk more about that. One last topic before we get to Twitter questions. This is nothing major. We knew this was coming, but Telltale Games, we had reported and talked about them shutting down and all the reasons, but the games are starting to disappear off of systems or off of like Steam, and then so it's I actually had purchased one of those like packs of like Telltale Games, and I'm not sure if I downloaded all of them just because I didn't have space, but now that I bought a hard drive, I definitely have space for it. So today I'm gonna run home and start downloading the ones that I paid for, because I don't want it to be like that Apple whatever. See, I don't know if you guys had heard, but like people had purchased the movies off of like iTunes, and then something happened with whatever their licensing or whatever, and they disappeared, and then suddenly people didn't have access to these movies anymore that they paid for, and Apple was like, well, here, have a free like coupon,
free voucher code to rent
not
for
their
a few hours.
not money, not like their money back, not like, okay, you can purchase something else or some credit, like here you get some Apple Music for like 5 hours or some crap like that. Like people were pissed, and deservedly so. So I'll be pissed if I try and download the games that I paid for, and they're not there. So
I got to check now too after this if I got Tales from the Borderlands still downloaded. I don't know if I uninstalled it for like to give me more space or anything, but yeah, because that's I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Now that they're shutting down, their games are just gonna disappear from like Steam and the Microsoft or PlayStation Store.
Yeah, so that will be upsetting. Telltale Games, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, maybe someone else will just at least purchase the existing assets and just sell them.
I heard that some things were getting outsourced. Like, isn't Wolf Among Us 2,
no,
isn't that...
I wish.
Dead in the water completely?
It's not dead in the water, but right now there's no one picking that up. It's incomplete.
Walking Dead's getting finished.
Yes. Walking Dead is the final season getting finished because Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead, his company Skybound is basically paying the same people that were already working on it, the developers that were already working on it, and just bringing them over so they get that same feeling and the same story. He's just paying to get it finished and to put that out. Whereas Stranger Things, and I think Stranger Things, Netflix is probably going to search for another developer to produce something. And
that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, and then Wolf Among Us 2 is incomplete. I don't know who else. I would love for someone. That was a game that I didn't play until this year, and I thought was fantastic. So I would love to see that get picked up and finished. But right now, there doesn't seem to be anyone there.
Let's pick it up at Collider. Yeah. We'll do it.
There you go. We'll make it VR. We'll make it VR. All right. Let's move on to tour questions. What do we got, Dorian?
All right. Blade GTR asks, who do you think will win Game of the Year 2018? The Game Award nominees this year are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption, Celeste, and Monster Hunter World.
Okay. So, of those, I've only played Red Dead 2 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I know you guys have raved about Spider-Man. I know other people have raved about Spider-Man. People got upset last week when we didn't mention God of War in the Game of the Year. Like half the
talking about those two games at the time is the reason.
Yeah.
Right?
So for me, I've only played 2, but I'd say Red Dead Redemption 2 is just because I'm talking about it as one of my favorite games ever of all time. Yeah. And the first one was not in that category for me, but this one is. So that's my choice. I don't know about Jordan.
I say it's a lock for Red Dead 2. Okay. But you know what? And to go on a bit of a rant here, the thing I really don't like about the formula of the Game Awards is that it's like, voted in from people. And the reason that I don't like that is because, listen, I love Spider-Man. Yeah. I think it's a phenomenal game. But I know that there are people out there who will just vote for Spider-Man as Game of the Year without actually thinking, is this the best game of the year?
Yeah.
And I feel like the Game Awards being as big as it is, and having such a major audience coming in to tune in, they should just treat it as the video game Oscars. Create a committee of people, journalists in gaming and stuff, to vote themselves on what the game, like what the winners of each category should be. And that way I think it would be taken a little more seriously. Because I remember there was a year where Uncharted 4 and Overwatch were nominated Game of the Year, and Overwatch won Game of the Year. And honestly, to me, that's just comical. Like, I don't think there is even a comparison between those two games on what should be the Game of the Year. But this year as well, like now I'm wondering, because it's player voted or it's consumer voted in, like, will a game win that isn't necessarily the best game but just has the most fans?
Yeah. I would say the one thing though is that both Spider-Man and God of War are PS4 only exclusives,
Right.
So it makes it a little tougher because if you're talking about voting, you have Red Dead. Everybody's playing on
Exactly.
on Xbox and PS4. So I just think maybe that's gonna kind of tip the scales towards Red Dead 2. Besides it being a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Ender AK44 asks.
That's my brother.
Yeah, I know. He asks, where does Red Dead rank all time in your video game list?
I can't say because I haven't finished it yet, but I would say it has entered my top 5. Even just playing it 30%, unless it completely goes off the rail. But nobody has said that, No, I haven't heard any sort of like, when Mass Effect 3 had in their ending, like people like had a major backlash about that. I didn't have that huge a problem with it. It was a little weird, but I didn't have as big a problem as other people did. I haven't heard any type of backlash, so I'm expecting the quality that I'm going to get from the rest of the game is going to equal to or even better. So I can't say where, but I would say it's going to end up in my top 5 of all time. Caboose?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Right now, like, just having beaten it and playing it as much as I am, like, because I'm loving how much I'm playing it right now, just in my head, I'm like, this is my favorite game of all time. But I know after I have like a little more time to maybe think about it, it's definitely on like my Mount Rushmore of video games. I think, like this is one of the best video games of all time for sure. Whether or not it's considered my favorite of all time, I don't know. I think if I have to say my top 3, it would be Red Dead 2, The Last of Us, and Batman Arkham City. And I'm like trying to shuffle those 3 to see what's my legit 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. For me, like Fallout 3. StarCraft, and Red Dead Redemption 2, a few other games as well that are in my top 5 games of all time. Dorian, what about you? Well, you haven't played it yet. So what is in your top 3 or 4 or 5 video games of all time?
Okay, so definitely The Last of Us.
Okay. The Last of Us could be in mine if they didn't have that stupid glitch.
God of War, the new one,
Okay.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's on up there. How many is it? Top 3 or top 5?
Whatever. Just what are some of your favorites of all time?
Also the infamous games that they have a special place in my heart, especially the second one. I love Second Son, and I guess that's The Last of Us is
Yeah, the
Spider-Man,
Mass Effect.
Spider-Man's up there for me too.
Mass Effect 2 is up there for me. I'm trying to think of what else.
Uncharted. What the hell?
What the hell?
Yeah.
Uncharted, especially Uncharted 4. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I had a brain fart. Yeah, Uncharted 4 definitely up there. I love that game.
Yeah.
I loved Uncharted 4. Yeah. Shout out to my brother.
Yeah, shout out
to. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for supporting Collider Games. Okay, this is a Red Dead Redemption question. I am sorry if I'm butchering this name. Salma Ashik, whatever. Sorry. Do you think author Arthur Morgan is a genuinely good person deep down?
I haven't finished the game yet, so I can't say from the way I'm playing him, he's not really a good person. He'll do good things sometimes, but generally he's got to stick up his butt. He's, you know what I mean? He's not doesn't really want to help people. I mean, even like, yeah, I think he's like cool to his friends. But like anyone else, like he's just like, oh, I don't know you, screw you, you know.
Yeah.
So
Same.
and anyone like even like some people in his group, like Micah or whatever, you know, they piss him off and he talks crap to him. So I don't know, generally a good person. I have to finish it, so I can't give you an answer. But so far for me, I would say no. I mean, he shoots people in the face.
Respect.
I think that's the best thing about Arthur's character is that deep down he's just not a good dude.
Yeah.
You know, like you do good things and that helps, you know, build your character. But at the end of the day, like he is an outlaw. And if he's got to shoot you in the face for whatever reason, he's going to do it, you know, and like that is just in his blood. And I think that's what makes his character so layered.
Yeah. And then, you know, it depends on the choices that you make. I mean, you know, sometimes like I'm like, yeah, I could let this guy go. Nah. You know. So, depends on the way you play him, but I don't think he's genuinely a nice guy. All right, how many more do we got?
We have a couple more, but I can take
keep
one
going.
more. All right. Boom Toasted Gaming asks, what do you think of the new model that EA is pursuing with Battlefield 5 being a live service and encouraging subscriptions rather than purchasing the game? Is this a new move in the industry?
I mean, it's not a new move in the industry because with Warcraft, you're paying every month to play that game. I'm talking about World of Warcraft. Like, it's like a subscription fee. Like, because in the long run, they know if they hook you, they get way more money out of you than you. That's why, like, now I think World of Warcraft is free, right? Or free. Yeah, the game itself is free. Then you pay for the subscription. I remember when it first came out, you had to pay for it and a subscription. I'm not a fan of that. I'm already paying for Xbox Live, you know? And I think that's good enough. That's, you know, I think, what, $60 a year? Look, I understand a lot of infrastructure and this stuff and the servers you should pay for, but I feel like it's incumbent on the console maker to facilitate that versus the third party company that's eking out their money out of you. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm old school, so I'm not a big fan of this microtransaction crap, subscription stuff. Like the only way I do a subscription, like that Game Pass, that makes sense, right? You're getting all these games, and as long as you're subscribed, you can keep playing these games. That makes sense. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm not paying. I don't want to pay a subscription for a game. That's why I don't do a lot of mobile games, because like a lot of that's like, oh, you got to pay. You're basically playing increment by increment to play the game.
Pay to win, yeah.
How do you guys feel about subscription model for games?
I'm not a fan of that. Listen,
I
I pay
like
for my
that.
internet.
Yeah.
I pay for my Xbox Live subscription. That should be enough if I've already bought your game to be able to do what I want to do, you know? And listen, EA, like, figure it out, man. This is the same company that in the year that we got God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2 were saying that single-player games were dead. So, EA, please, please, just figure it out. Figure it out.
All right, let's do one more question and we'll get out of here.
Christopher Corone asked, when do you think the Doom Patrol will be released next year? I'm super excited for that game.
Okay, I don't know too much about this game, so...
Me neither. Caboose?
Doom Patrol game? Is he's not talking about,
did I say Doom Patrol?
Yeah, you
Doom
said
Eternal.
I meant Doom Eternal.
Oh.
My bad. I'm thinking of
I
Teen
was like,
Titans. My
yeah.
bad.
Patrol game?
My
What?
bad.
Someone's thinking of that DC Universe subscription you're going to send over to him later, Caboose.
Yeah, I know.
Doom Eternal, when it's... What was the question again?
When do you think it will be released next year?
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm guessing earlier.
I said Doom Patrol.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I haven't played Doom since they had the Doom on, I think, the first Xbox. Yeah, I think that was the last time I played Doom. So I haven't played Doom in a while. Because, like, all those kind of start blending together for me, like Doom and Quake and, you know what I mean? Those kind of really fast twitch finger first-person shooters, which I really don't play much anymore. But I would guess earlier next year.
Yeah. Probably first half
All
of
right.
2019 is a good guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 2019. It'll be out that year. You know, who knows really? But I mean, considering how much we've seen, first half.
All right, Caboose, we'll end it on this question is because you played all through Red Dead. Jay Scott asked, what were the most crazy random black and white hat encounters you've experienced in R2, and how did you react as a result of the aftermath?
And when he says that, he's talking about like the random experiences like that happen throughout the world?
Yeah, the most crazy random.
Okay.
Yeah.
The craziest one actually happened to me just a couple of days ago. So I'm riding into town, I'm leaving town, and there's a guy riding in on his horse, and he looks like he just got mauled by a bear. He's bloody and like beaten, and he falls off the horse. And like he is pretty much on the point of dying. So I pick him up, put him on my horse, and take him to the local doctor in the town.
Hey, you did something good.
Then the doctor's like, hey, you don't want to stick around for this. I got to do an amputation. And in my head, most video games, it's like, oh, they just have that line of dialogue. Yeah. I could stay here forever, and that never happens. No. The doctor pulls out a saw and seriously amputates the guy's arm, dumps it in a bucket, and is just sitting there bandaging him. And I'm like, wow. It actually, they go through with that, and they show everything. I was like, holy smokes, that is intense. So that's probably, for me, the craziest experience I've had so far.
Damn, now I really want to get this game.
Yeah, it's a great game. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. I want to thank the people joining us today. Dorian, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rec, because Parks and Rec is better than The Office, and you can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks.
Caboose, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CabooseEK, and also on the Collider Games channel, covering some more Fallout 76. Battlefield 5 is coming out soon, Red Dead Online, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram, Dennis.tz. I'm looking at the wide shot like we still have it. Shit. Look at my camera. You can follow me on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Make sure to subscribe to the Collider Factory feed for this podcast. And we also have a bunch of other podcasts on the network for Movie Talk, Jedi Council, Heroes, and sports, and all that kind of good stuff. Remember, if you want to win the Xbox One X Incredibles 2 custom version, make sure you're subscribed. Make
sure you're following us on Twitter, Collider Video, and as well as Collider Games, because we'll be posting on there.
Yeah.
So make sure to follow us on there. Get the notifications on, so you'll be the first to be alerted when we do post it, and then you can enter as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we'll give it away in a couple weeks or something like that. And Dorian, you'll post some pictures of it along with kind of the details. So, all right, guys, that's it. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.